The key is a central plot device in the MSQ of Dawntrail 7.0, and will have an even more important part to play after Dawntrail's story is resolved, and we prepare for the next expansion. At this time, we don't know much about the key. Not even Preservation or Queen Sphene knew much about it, despite using it for their own ends. I do, however, have a few theories to share about it. But first, let's go over what we know thus far. The key started off in its crystal form, and electrope augmentation was added much later. According to Kra's parents and the archives of Isle Volcane, the key was protected and passed down by their people since time immemorial. The people they refer to are the Lalafels who inhabited the South Sea Isles thousands of years ago. These people, with their spiritual leader known as the Speaker, used the key to travel from Aetheris to another reflection, the very same one where the Kingdom of Alexandria comes from. Fast forward a few thousand years, and this reflection was being ravaged by a calamity of lightning. The Mi-Lala, those descendants of the Lalafels from Aetheris, attempted to use the key again to return to their ancestral home. Robor and Alayla led the research into the key, but all attempts to use it ended in failure. It was then that they were approached by Preservation, a group who promised aid but had their own ulterior motives. It's at this point the key was augmented with Electrope, a process that got it to finally work. After Preservation's plans to rob other reflections of Aether were discovered, Kra's parents used the key to open a portal to Aetheris, and handed both the key and baby Kryl to the men on the other side. The key would be used again on Aetheris by Zoralja to connect to Alexandria's reflection, where he entered into an agreement with Sphene. With the key in hand, she initiated interdimensional fusion, merging her domed kingdom with the source, where it currently stands today in Toral under a dome of lightning. The key would be utilised to keep a portal open above Everkeep, connecting it to living memory and their home reflection. Sphene used the key once more for interdimensional fusion, linking Alexandria's reflection with an as of yet unidentified one to absorb its Aether. This connection was active until the Eternal Queen was defeated, and the key was removed from her grasp. The key is now in our possession, and will be utilised later in the story. Now we jump into theory mode, as I go over a number of different ideas of what the key is, as well as its abilities. First, let's explore its origin. The Mi-Lala state it was in the safekeeping of their ancestors on the South Sea Isles since time immemorial. The South Sea Isles are the place of origin for the Lalafell species, so the key may as well have been in their keeping since the very beginning. That begs the question, however, given how old it is, who made it, and where did it come from? When I first saw the key in the launch trailer, the first thing to jump into my mind were the Aetherites in Amarot and Elpis. From a design perspective, they share similarities. This hinted to me the key may be of ancient origin, dating back to before the Sundering. It wouldn't be the first time we see crystals from that era pop up. And this was likely confirmed prior to our fight with the Eternal Queen, when this scene happened. The key resonated with us using Azem's crystal, and then it displayed the symbol of the seed of Azem the Traveller. I was a bit confused about this at first. Did it absorb Azem's power, or did it resonate with it due to both being of similar origins? I wasn't sure what to make of it all, until I remembered this tale about Azem when we first met Vana.
A shame for one so young. You must make an effort to frown less often.
Easier said than done, thanks to your unruly successor.
How is he, if I may ask?
Incorrigible as ever. Rushed headlong into a volcano on the brink of eruption just the other day. I should be glad to share the tale in its entirety later, if you're so inclined.
Oh, you know I am.
If you look at Isle Volcane, it's themed around a volcano, and the South Sea Isles are likely volcanic in origin. It got me thinking, since the key resonated with Azem's crystal, could it have originally belonged to them? And if so, how did it end up on the South Sea Isles? That's when I remembered the volcano story. Azem leapt into it, seeking to stop its eruption. It's possible that they used the key to do this, utilizing a power or ability inherent to it that we're yet ignorant of. Perhaps in the process the key was lost, left behind in that volcano, only to be discovered after the sundering by the Lalafels of the South Sea Isles. Speaking of powers, let's look at what's been currently demonstrated by its use. We've seen the key utilized for two purposes thus far. First is opening a portal between two worlds, both small and large scale, and the second is interdimensional fusion, which is able to merge the location around the key itself with another destination. It's not a power we have much understanding of. Heck, even Sphere Preservation didn't fully grasp the science or magic behind it, nor did they have any accurate control. Going back to the first power, that of portals to other worlds. As much as these portals can establish a real-time connection between two worlds, I believe the key can also bridge two worlds at two separate time periods. And no, this isn't just to give weight to my previous reflection theory video. This has to do with something else. Something I've long suspected about our original incarnation, the last Azem. Azem is a pretty strange individual, in that they seem to have access to knowledge that even ancients who know us such as Vana do not. Cast your mind back to Pandemonium, when we first travelled back to Elpis and met Elidibus. Somehow we managed to teleport back to Elpis, to the exact place and time where he'd be standing in order to meet with him. Elidibus, by his own admission, was told to be there, cause his friend said an ally would be coming to help. And the friend who told him this is Azem. We know this because the dialogue of this conversation changes to match that of the player's character gender, which only happens with conversations about Azem. Azem somehow knew we would be travelling back from the future. Their decision making throughout the events of the final days are also suspicious. They stepped away from the convocation, and declined to aid Vana with her plans to call forth Hydaelyn and invoke a sundering. Stay with me here for a second, this is gonna get a bit Doctor Who timey-wimey. What if the key, which belonged to Azem, was utilised to travel into the future? This would explain their foresight. We know Azem was sundered along with the other ancients, but this is because they knew the Warrior of Light was their incarnation. They thus knew that one day their time needed to end in the past by being sundered. When the time came, they ended up back in the past, choosing to side with neither the Convocation or Vana, cause only they knew the full truth. What this also means is Azem is still operating in the present day, watching things unfold, likely right in front of our eyes. But the time is not yet right for us to cross paths. Okay, I went down the rabbit hole there a bit, I'm sorry. But I'd like to hear your opinion on the key and Azem. And did they use it to travel to other timelines? Let's have a full discussion about it. I'm hopping back into lore videos from here on, so my next video will be a good one. Lally ho, I'm out.